Hey Stargazers, Alexander here. So we're going to be talking about the week of February 10th to February 6th, 2019. This is the astrological or the cosmic weather forecast of what's going on in the week. How can you optimize that energy? Because every week is about what we can get. What are the opportunities? Because if you think about time is different opportunities that come in a series of events. When you're trying to explain what time is, I mean, we still really don't understand what time is, but it's trying to, our measurement of time is trying to quantify the inquantifiable. So it's really interesting to always look and see what are the archetypal energies at play, what is available to us in that week, and how can we best extract that. And we use astrology to do that because astrology shows us the different archetypal dynamics, the different types of, again, opportunities that are there that are unique. Some will not ever, I mean, actually, a chart will not occur again probably in the course of a lifetime, most certainly not. So you see how every moment is extremely unique. And we want to really take the opportunity to be able to harness that and to go about doing it in a way that's going to be fruitious for us and the world at large. So if you're new to this channel, if you've never listened to this or watched it, please subscribe, and so you can get updated on the latest episodes and the latest forecasts that are being broadcasted. So anyhow, let's just jump right into it. Is that we have now just spent the past 10 days or so bringing in the Chinese New Year, having the new moon in Aquarius, and going through a phase of moving away from situations that have put us in danger, situations that are perhaps dangerous for us. Now, this can be externally true, or this could be internally as well. And what do I mean by internally dangerous? How can something be internally something that we need to be cautious about, something that we need to be aware of? Well, yeah, if you think about ego and you think about the blockages that are often put in our way, then yeah, this is something that's dangerous. So it's almost like we've just been barely a step ahead of being snagged by these egotistical energies, by these dark forces that really want to keep us stuck, that want to keep us in that small bubble of the comfort zone that we are used to. And when I'm talking about astrology, obviously, from the point of view of Dash Astrology, which is the system that I'm using, it's always coming from the spiritual point of view. And it's really funny because I made the mistake when I was first studying. I think when I've been studying astrology since I think I was 5 or something. It's just something that I always loved with the archetypes. I made the mistake of thinking that all astrologers and healers and the work that I'm into now, that they were spiritual. And that's just not the case. Of course, you can describe the systems and you can describe how everything is working, but that doesn't mean you're spiritual. So I'm always offering spiritual solutions, how the right kind of consciousness that we can adopt, that we can align with, so that we are able to really understand what's going on in the cosmos and optimize our realities to an optimal level. So it's really, I'm really happy to have you. And so, like I said, we've been escaping this danger zone just by a step. So we don't want to rest on our laurels. We don't want to be cocky about it, because it's like we want to be 3 steps ahead. We don't want to just be like a toe ahead. So it's almost like we've just been skimming things that could have been extremely catastrophic, either for us personally or financially or in business or relationship. It's like we've been given a pass a little bit, like you get away this time, but you got to stay on top of it moving forward. Okay? So now we need to give thanks and then keep moving on. We definitely need to keep moving on. And now what we also need to do is improve our chances of regaining anything that has been lost. So when I say that we're just a step ahead or a toe, an inch ahead, we might have still lost. Maybe we got thrown off our game a little bit, or maybe we lost a little bit here and there. Maybe we overlooked something and we didn't pay attention to the details. The point is that now we can give thanks and we can regain anything that we have that has slipped through the cracks, right? So we definitely want to put our focus there in doing that as we're going out throughout the week. And so the one of the biggest lessons of the week, and remember, we are still in the month of Aquarius, and Aquarius is very powerful. It's in the middle of winter. The energy is cold. We know the energy is cold. It's really important to stay warm during the solar month of Aquarius. But because we are really pursuing through that archetype of Aquarius, it's like we have lots of inspiration. There's a lot of inspiration in the air, but the question is, are we willing to do what's necessary to get through it? Okay? We have the power with Aquarius to do the unexpected. We are able to do things that we would not think that we could do. So we really want to utilize that magic of Aquarius so that we can continue. And even when times are easy, even when times are rough, we want to be able to move on and to really keep on going with that. So that's that beautiful energy of Aquarius that it has to offer to us. It's ruled by the planet Uranus, and Uranus is revolution and changing things, and can also create turbulence. And what we want to be careful of is that rebellious nature. So with Aquarius, we learn that the means never justify the end. Okay? That the means never justify the end, which is basically saying that you don't want to take advantage of people or you want to mess up your karma because you have a goal and you're just being really selfish about it, and you just will lie, cheat, steal, and kill just to get what it is that you want. And most certainly don't want to fall into this trap. Okay? So that we can see this a lot of times in New Age circles, for example, that there's that common misconception that positive actions create positive karma. Now, who's to say what a positive action is if it's being done from that place of selfishness, right? We cannot be entirely sure that a positive action is entirely positive, or if it's a debt that we owe, okay, that needs to be paid. Now, of course, paying debt is a good thing, but when we're talking about positive actions, we're talking about actions that are selfless, that are not ego-based, that are not just about me. And the moon this week is in Aries. So the moon in Aries is like at least it starts off with moon in Aries. So it's like me first. The moon is that receptive nature. Aries has a really big desire. It's a fire sign. It wants the things that it wants to get, and it wants to go about it however it needs to. So we need to be able to allow ourselves patience and to be able to connect the dots and to see how can we be humble about our desires. How can we make it for others, right? This is very important. So the means never justify the ends. You know who thinks like that? Villains. Every single villain believes that the means will justify the end, right? So if you think of Magneto from X-Men, he needs to kill all the humans so that the mutants can live in peace. No, it doesn't work that way. Yes, we want everyone to live in peace, but you don't eliminate half the population or more than half the population because there's more humans and there are mutants in the Marvel world anyhow, we really don't need to do that. Absolutely not. Or I don't know if you saw the nominated movie, Best Actress, with Glenn Close, The Wife, for example. I don't want to give the ending away or the story at all, but this is another example. They had a good idea, but in the end it blew up in their faces. You have to watch it to know what's going on. So the means do not justify the end. They will just leave us with regret. It'll make us feel sticky about ourselves, and that we are like putting ourselves into boxes. And with Aquarius, during the month of Aquarius, we want to move out of boxes. We want to move out of them, and we want to serve as light posts for others to illuminate the path, because there's a lot of darkness right now in the world. And so we want to be able to show people what the right direction is, having the right words, having the right thoughts, having the right deeds, okay? So we don't know at any given moment how much our reactive nature, really being reactive, getting angry, being selfish, whatever, is having an effect on others in the world. Aquarius is that global network of all beings. So our actions affect all beings. And this week in particular, because we're still also again in that solar month of Aquarius, we have that ability to access that higher state of vibration so that we can illuminate the path for other people, which is really important. It's really, 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 really important. So because of that, we need to dig within. And I like talking about the moon, because the moon visits every sign in the course of a month, so it gets around. It knows what's going on in the zodiac. It knows what's going on in the chart. And we can learn a lot from the moon because, like I said, it's quite promiscuous with the other signs of the zodiac. And it's something that we definitely want to pay attention to. And yeah, so it's like with that lunar energy, it just got renewed in the Lunar New Year of the Earth Hog. By the way, I have my meditation on that. You can access it on my site to meet your personal Earth Hog. It's a really cool meditation. It's going to stay with you for a whole year. But there must be some energy to it. There's definitely some energy to that lunar energy of that new lunar Tibetan Chinese New Year. So the thing is this week, again, with the means never justifying the end, is that the con energy is a little bit higher than normal. Meaning that if something looks too good to be true, watch out, because it probably is. Right? We don't want to get caught up in that. Remember, we want to regain something that we've lost. We don't want to get caught into another con, because deception is very high for about the next 10 days or so. We don't want to fall for things that seem like it's a really good deal. And there are advertisements, there are campaigns, there are people out there that want to bank off of our impulsiveness, our FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. So really watch out for that. Don't be deceived by all the different kinds of offers and all the things that people want you to get you to buy. Of course, if you're on the market for something, that's one thing. But if you need to have a better understanding of what's going on, then just do your own research, to hold off. Don't be impulsive about it, okay? Don't be impulsive about it. You're not going to get your money back, and it's going to cost more in the long run, because that's another thing, is that when we're looking for bargains, we end up losing, right? So just be aware of that. Watch out for the con energy, and it's going to be okay. Just back off. Put the brakes on the impulsiveness. So with that said, let's have a look. Let's actually just jump into the chart here, because then I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's see. This is the transits for February 10th. So this is the chart of the week. All right, so here we have, so if you see here that we are in Aquarius, so there is all the planets are kind of gathered in this part of the chart. So Aquarius is really telling us to do some delegation. Delegation is really important. We need to be able to work with others. We need to be able to share. Not like, if you think that you can do it all on your own this week, you're absolutely wrong. You need to be able to work with other people, to delegate tasks, especially if you're in a place of authority, where it's like, if you're feeling like a control freak, no, it like really pass it on to somebody else. Let somebody else take responsibility for it. And if it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, then, you know, take it from there. You can always refine and edit, but just, if you trust who you're giving it to, then it could be okay, right? So just don't worry about that. Delegate, 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 and then you are able to do some other things that you need to be able to do. Now, because we have the sun and Mercury and the black moon are all in the 4th house, okay? And it's in Aquarius, and the black moon's now in Pisces here. So we need to be really careful of older family patterns creeping in to lock us into our comfort zone, contaminating our desires, limiting our beliefs about what it is that we can receive. This could be from generations back. So it could be like your grandmother's 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 grandmother. Some idea or desire or limitation she had, it actually can be manifesting in you. Absolutely, why not? Many generations back, this genetic karma, it gets passed on. Now, in my healing work, I'm not so big on believing in genetics, because this is karma. Genetics are karma, and karma can be transcended. Like, I don't care if it's genetic or cosmic or mental or whatever it is, karma can be dissolved. Just like astrological factors, they can be resolved and dissolved and transcended and transmutated and transformed and whatever you want to call it. But these generations of karma that are flowing through, because you have also the black moon in Pisces, the oldest sign, the last sign, and the black moon is the gate that our ego, that all the negative thoughts that they creep in on us, it's conjunct there with Mercury. So our thoughts could be a little bit, you know, a place where that energy is creeping in. It's a point of vulnerability. So we want to resolve these unresolved issues from generations and generations before. And it doesn't matter where it's coming from. I'm not saying you need to figure out who had the idea, you know, go to America and the dreams were broken or the dreams were made, and then all the stress and pressure is there, but you really wanted a family or you really wanted a career. Like, it doesn't matter. This grass is greener on the other side thing, it needs to go. These issues, this karma, these patterns, they need to be released this week. Very important, okay? So, for example, like, I wrote about this in my weekly, in the short write-up there, but for example, relatives, they pass on, our predecessors, they've passed on, and they, you know, the children or someone inherits the will, but that genetic karma, that unresolved karma, it's like secondary karma that's been passed on even to the next generation. And right now it wants to be healed and permanently. So if you're reproducing, if you're having children of your own, you do not want to pass that on, because if you pass that on, it's just going to be a recycle, because it could be, chances are that they were passing it on and then you passed it on and then they get it back again, and it's just like a big karmic laundering of unresolved issues, and we most certainly do not want to do that. So do your part. How do you do your part? You can do your atonements, you can do your meditations, you can do your journaling, you can do your releasing, anything you need, whatever your tools are, use them. Use them. I offer solutions, but whatever your solution is, do it. Very important for the world at large, okay? And it's really interesting because, see, look here, this week, and it's about closing this week, because we have Uranus, which is in 29 degrees. It's going to be there for a while in Aries, But then Mars later this week is also going to be 29 degrees Aries. Chiron is 29 degrees Pisces. So it's like it couldn't be more obvious. It's about bringing things to a closure. It's about really breaking down those old karmic wounds. Because think about it. Mars is the ability to break down ego. Chiron is those deep wounds that we need to heal. Uranus, it's that ability to move forward. If we want to move forward, we have to get rid of the old. It's absolutely necessary. It is a condition. Okay? It is the condition. There's no way that we are going to be able to plant new ground in the old trash. Okay? It's really time to let it go. Absolutely, 100,000 million %. Because they are in the Mars, Uranus, Chiron, they're in the final degrees of Aries and of Pisces. We're healing some violence. We're healing some fear and really deep wounded things. Violence can be anything. I don't know if you've ever heard the Alanis Morissette song, but it's like amazing. The versions of violence, sometimes subtle, sometimes clear. I'm not talking just like physical violence, but emotional violence, mental violence, verbal violence, blackmail. Violence comes in so many different forms that it wants to be healed. Mars is a planet of violence, right? It's totally a planet of violence in the degraded fashion. We have Moon in Aries, Mars in Aries, Uranus in Aries, okay? This can give us a lot of vision this week, a lot of vision, but it can also make us impulsive, impatient, and violent. We most certainly don't want to do that. And Thursday, it's going to be at the peak. It's going to be at the peak. We also want to watch out for our head and headaches. Don't bang it on stuff. Watch where your thoughts are. Right? So this is really, really, really important. The sun in Aquarius, the moon in Aries, it wants to advance in that pioneering spirit. And it has all the energy to do it. But it needs to let go of the old first. And that's just true for anything. And see, this is the cosmic weather that's affecting all of us. And the higher awareness that we have about it, the more consciousness that we have about it, the better we can do to transcend these issues. Because the moon's there in Aries in the 6th house. And if you know anything about astrology, you say, oh, the house placements are different depending on wherever you are. This is a house casted, this is like casted for Munich, so this is casted for Europe pretty much. But it doesn't matter. If you're listening to this, then it applies to you. Because I am interpreting that energy for you. It doesn't matter where you are. I'm interpreting that energy for you, so you're participating in that, right? So what does this mean? How does this apply? The moon in Aries in the 6th house, it's about taking preventative measures to avoid head injuries. Take some anti-inflammation natural remedies, right? We want to keep inflammation down. We do not want to get inflamed internally and self-important and me first and what am I getting out of this? But just force yourself. How can I help others? How can I assist others? And also, impulsive activities are probably not the best idea. If someone invites you to go skydiving this week, like tomorrow, it's probably not the best idea. Okay? There's a lot of spontaneity there with Uranus and Mars and the moon. Like they're like probably one of the the quickest, other than Mercury. But they are really quick in terms of going into action. Mercury can still think about it, but Uranus is very spontaneous. Mars is very reactive, and the moon is like the most reactive of all the planets, okay? So we want to really, again, put some space in between the question you're being asked or the situation you're in and your action and your answer, okay? Now, at the same time, there's a lot of desire to get things done, and we should try to balance it out with sharing with others, especially people that we have forgotten about. We don't want to leave people out. We need to think about the people we've forgotten about. And there's a big emphasis on wellness this week as well. Take care of yourself. Really be sure to give yourself that ability to rest. Also, to refuel. Mars is fuel. And also, why I'm putting so much emphasis on the Aries and the Moon and the Mars and the Uranus is because this week's astrological chart, the signature is Aries. The signature is Aries. And this is giving us, again, a lot of vision. It's giving us the ability to really have the clarity to see that bigger picture of cause and effect. Cause and effect. There is the law of cause and effect, and it's almost like we've become immune to it because we've heard about it. We've heard what goes around comes around, but it's a law. It's a spiritual law that we really need to respect. Okay, so we need to have that open mind of the Aries, be able to give structure to things, to handle the material side of life. Okay, and that we can really manage that. As you know, we're getting ready for Chiron to enter Aries. Mars is going to enter Taurus this week. The shifts are coming, but we want to take these opportunities now because it's available now. I mean, why wouldn't you want to take the opportunity as it's being presented to you? And with all these things said, of course, like I'm always saying in my articles and during the month of Aquarius, we are in the age of Aquarius. So we are in the age of Aquarius. We are in the solar month of Aquarius. Mercury is in Aquarius. Information is available to everyone everywhere. It just depends on where you want to get it from. So ignorance is a choice. Ignorance is a choice right now. And we want to remove all excuses to being in the dark about something. We can educate ourselves. We are in this really unique time that we can educate ourselves about all the energies that are going on so that we can optimize our reality. So let's just talk a little bit about each of the days of the week because I want to go into it in detail. And also, if you want reminders, please follow me on Twitter because I post them every day as it's occurring, the different transits, the different energies of the day, so you can align yourself and you can see what's going on. Also on Instagram, I'm posting my articles and everything that's going on there as well, and Facebook, and just anywhere online on my site. You can subscribe to get all the latest and the greatest. And let's see, before we go into that, let me see. I don't have the chart for each day because it hardly shifts, but let me just tell you guys what's going on throughout the rest of the week. On Sunday, we have a really strong event is going on. Mercury is going to be entering into Pisces. It's leaving Aquarius and entering into Pisces, okay? Like towards the end of the day, depending on which time zone you're in. Now, do you think Mercury likes Pisces? It's a trick question. It does. It totally likes Pisces. Why? Because they have an affinity. So Mercury rules over Virgo and it rules over Gemini. Those are both what's called mutable signs. And mutable signs work with what is. They are the most flexible of all the signs. Pisces is also a mutable sign. Okay? So it has that mutable affinity. Mercury likes being in Pisces because it's familiar with the modality of mutability. Now, what this means for us is that it's beginning a new stage, right? So anytime a planet is moving into a sign, it's beginning something new or picking off from where it was there last. And which would be about a year ago. It's beginning a new stage of spiritual development because Pisces is the last sign again, and it's that spiritual development. And we can all tap into that. And yes, Mercury is a fast planet, but let's just use it. I mean, why not? Why not? So there's that strong energy of intentions. Mercury has that ability to be focused. It has that ability to be single-minded. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I lost my Yeah, it has that ability to be that single-minded thought, and it's also our communication, and it connects us to the divinity that's higher than us. It's the crown chakra. So it in Pisces, it's giving us that ability to allow for that spiritual unfoldment, to access our spiritual nature, and we can really, all the knowledge that Mercury has, all of the energy and the wisdom and the information that Mercury has accumulated as it's gone through from Aries and now into Pisces again, this happens every year, it has to be incorporated into our system so that we are able to use it. So that's what's going on as Mercury is transiting through Pisces, that it's being integrated into our brains, it's being integrated into our thoughts, it's being integrated into our communication. So yeah, Mercury likes Pisces because of that affinity and because of that ability to integrate from intention to integration. So that's the energy on Sunday. On Monday, and remember, each of these days are just like sub pockets of energy for like the chart of the week, which is what you're looking at here. On Monday, again, the moon is still in Aries, and Monday is ruled by the moon because it's Monday, so we're looking at the moon. And we can use that energy to really look within ourselves, because Aries is the self, right? And the moon is is within, so it's looking within ourselves and access clarity. We're going to need that clarity before we change everything, because again, you want to put space this week in between the question and your answer. So think cause and effect, and what you can also do as like a healthy distraction is think about Valentine's Day. It's a day of love. Even if you're not in a relationship or you don't want to be in a relationship, have self-love. You can have self-love for yourself on Valentine's Day. This is an amazingly healthy thing. If you are in a relationship, think of others, right? Think of your significant other, okay? So what is it that you need, right? What is it that you want? Very important questions, okay? And then on Tuesday, it's very important that we have an open mind so that we can get the divine inspiration that we need so that we can remove some more ego blockages. Ego blockages are getting in the way of our destiny, of our fate, of the things that we want to accomplish. If we just resist and we resist, we might run into some problems on the material level, on the physical level. So it's very crucial with the Mars is approaching the conjunction of Uranus that we access our unrecognized potential and become fearless about it. Become fearless about what it is that we have to offer. Become fearless about everything. Aries is the warrior, Mars is the warrior, and Uranus is like the oblivious, like I'm wandering into this and I have no idea what happened, but Mars says we're going to conquer it all. So really enjoy that amazing energy there that's going to bring these opportunities to you. Wednesday ruled by Mercury, okay? It's already floating through Pisces, exploring those deep waters of Pisces like that I was talking about, these spiritual energies of the subconscious. And you really want to be careful what it is that you're seeing. It could be an illusion, it could be a fantasy. Watch out for love at first sight, because that's probably all it's going to be, right? So you don't want to fall into these illusions. Now, I also want to mention, because I am an astrological healer, like I do practice astrological healing with the Dash system, astrology, our occiput in our brain, in our mind, in our head is going to be activated with Mercury going through Pisces. Mercury rules the brain. Pisces rules the occiput. So this is like heavy, strong emphasis on the occiput, which rules over our sight, our ability to see things, amongst other things. So we want to, during this transit, really be able to distinguish between illusions and in between visions. We're going to have a lot of visions of everything that we've gone through and everywhere that we need to go. So there's a lot of that energy there available to us to really see that and to take advantage of it 100,000%. Then on Thursday, we have Valentine's Day. So it's the day of love. It's the day of soulmates, at least in the Western world of things. And we all have a soulmate. We want to focus on finding our soulmate if we haven't, or to commit to being the right person, being the soulmate in order to take our relationships to the next level. Really interesting. Mars, the Yang planet, is going to be entering into Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So we have a nice union of yin and yang on this day, which is also really good for making money, for being sensual, and also increasing self-worth. Try to be flexible with this and really do whatever it takes to get rid of anger at all costs whatsoever. And again, this is also the day when Mars, Uranus, and Chiron are in the final degrees of Aries and Pisces, the first sign and the last sign, healing some violence, healing anger, healing the fear, all very, very, very important. And then on Friday, if you find yourself in a bit of a love hangover, you might want to reconsider who it is that you did or who you were with or whatever it is was going on. If you still got love on your mind, make sure it's not an illusion. And if you really feel it deep within, then you know you're on the right track and things might be looking up and up. True love, you guys, has endurance. True love has endurance. Aquarius energy, long-distance relationships do not work. Long-distance relationships do not work unless they're coming together. But if they're apart over and over and over again, it won't work. So true love has endurance. It's without suppression. It's honest. It's open. It's present in the moment. There's no justification with it whatsoever. And also I want to mention, don't worry about the money. We are all worth more than we think we are. If there are some money things coming up, just let it go. It's going to be okay. Just value is what determines like that vessel in terms of receiving and stuff, okay? And then finally, Saturday is the accumulation of the week. Saturn is slowly approaching the planet Pluto. These are slow-moving planets in Capricorn, and there's some massive firmware upgrades that are going on. It's going to be a really good time to start some detoxification, some weight loss programs, also getting rid of old things and attracting, and it's things that are going to help you get to that next upgrade. There's also a lot of energy to manifest the desires as long as you're able to really let go of failed dreams and failed ambitions, okay? So this week, we don't want to know too much. We don't want to think that we're special. We want to really be humble and have that good, strong sense of that we go about doing things in the humble and honest way, because the means never justify the end, all right? So as always, if you want to have a deeper look at what's going on, particularly for you, because we all have our own birth chart, we all have our own karma that we need to work on to contribute to the global situation, you can get a chart reading with me. Take advantage of my insights. I can look at what's going on in your chart. I can look at your progress charts, your transit charts. You can do a 30-day reading. You can do a personal development strategy, which is good for like about 6 months. Or you can also have a consultation with my wife and I, which is like really powerful because we work on your chart together. 2 eyes, so to speak, or 4 eyes, 2 mind's eyes, if you will, are greater than 1. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. And again, if you liked it, please subscribe to wherever you're watching this on, wherever you're listening to this. And I thank you all for listening, and I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. And thank you for being the one who makes a difference by using Dash Astrology. All right. See you guys next time. Bye.